There was a time when most of us could safely ignore economics and banking and live our lives comfortably, expecting things were reasonably stable and well run. Things are different today. Our federal government constantly intervenes in markets and creates trillions of dollars out of thin air. These policies confuse markets, they create distortions, and they weaken our currency. They are a smokescreen to hide dismal leadership. I've dealt with real estate, housing, and banking issues my whole career. Just when Washington has trouble running the biggest fiscal deficits in history, they announce plans to monetize and print trillions more. The Fed frames this as good news. Nothing could be further from the truth. They tell you it's to save jobs and lower interest rates. Actually, rates are already at historic lows and can't go much lower. The Fed is terrified markets might start to reflect America's weak credit prospects and that rates will go up unless Treasury steps in and props up the market. The families fear falling real estate values when rates return to normal. Decades of liberal creep introduced concepts like subprime mortgages and no equity lending, which yielded weaker and weaker loans. There are trillions of unrealized losses in Fannie Mae portfolios of New Age debts. Gradually, over 3 decades, our government has nationalized housing finance. Marketplace mortgages from community banks were replaced with government loans. Today, 95% of all loans come from zombie federal entities propping up the market. We need a sound real estate market people can buy into, not a government-controlled house of cards. A dependent Federal Reserve yields to politicians and intervenes for short-term effects. Contrast this to an independent Fed, which focuses on long-term stability and lets a free market guide short-term trends. Monetizing our debt isn't some laboratory experiment that never touches us common folk. These monetarists use our lives and the futures of our children as collateral for their ideology. Many strong voices urge a return to an independent Fed, among them the former Fed Chairman Paul Volcker and present district presidents Richard Fisher and Thomas Hoenig. Current monetary policy has included ultra-low rates that rob savers of normal interest yields. Savers and retirees now earn a minuscule return on their liquid assets. We're eating into our hard-earned savings principal instead of living off interest as we planned. Who profits from this? We are paying a bill of hundreds of billions of dollars in lost interest to mask failed progressive policies. As your congressman, I'll fight for a free market Fed. Liberal academics defend their socialist new market concepts with fancy theory and a distorted consensus. This new think guided a generation of risky lending and led a mass migration of large institutions straight over a cliff. Today they infect Washington bureaucracies at every level, from helicopter Ben Bernanke on down. Not only must we defeat them, we must repudiate them for all time. Does this mean that I'm an activist conservative? I'll go to any lengths to see that you have a sounder future than what Barack Obama has in mind for you.